now that you have time to watch the overview video on how to make a platformer game using the Construct game engine, now it's time to look through the tutorial, look at the assets, and get started on the project. So the first thing is we need to go to the site where the game assets are located at. Here they have a link for us that this tutorial makes use of the Abstract Platformer Pack. If you decide that you want to try to use any other game assets, Kenny has provided quite a bit of assets to choose from that we can use on a later project. But in the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and select the link to the asset pack. And what's given to us is about over 370 different tiles. They've got 4 different color themes. Looks like they got 4 different characters. Possibly 4 different types of enemies, collectibles, decorations. They've got doors and keys. Based on this, we have a lot of different options to go with. And if I look at the preview here, there are 4 different color themes and how to mix and match the colors that are given to us. But based on the tutorial, they're using this brown with the red, and they're using the blue character from the step-by-step guide, along with the yellow diamonds. So at some point, if you choose to change and use a different diamond, by all means try that out. So I'm going to go ahead and download this asset pack. And then while that's downloading, I'm going to go ahead and head back over to Construct. So we're going to go ahead and get over to the next page. And they want us to create a brand new project. They also want us to change the layout size. Now, if you want to use this same layout size, 4000 by 2048, by all means, I'm going to show you how to change that to that value, but I'm going to use a different one. I'm going to use more of a horizontal layout instead of a nice large rectangle layout. Keep it very simple for the first game, and then we'll venture on to different sizes later on. So how do I find the game engine? So if you're still on Construct here, where it says Try Now, I'm going to right click and open this in a new tab, and that's going to get me to launch the guided tour. I will also provide a link to this in the show notes. No thanks, not now. And then I'm going to make a brand new project. In this project, I'm going to name it the same thing as the tutorial. So how to make a platformer game. I'm going to leave all the default presets alone, but if you happen to not see the same ones, they have the SD landscape 16 by 9. The viewport is 854 by 480 landscape. And then if you are dealing with pixel art, it's a good opportunity to go ahead and check that for any kind of pixel art. Kenny does provide some assets in the pixel art realm, and I would recommend that you go ahead and select that and then create our project. Now, how do we find that layout size? Currently, right now, the properties that are given to us are for the project, but we want this layouts property. So if I go ahead and select the gray area here, the layout, or on that right-hand side in the project folder structure, and if I select that layout 1, I'm now given the properties of this layout, which is called layout number 1. So here is where that size property is going to be at. Even this size here is a pretty reasonable size to go with, but that's where you would change those values if needed. So I'm going to use a more horizontal layout. So mine's going to be 2688 by 480. Now, where do those values come from, or where did I choose those values? The graphics or the assets, each of the blocks is 64 by 64. And so what I've done is that I've taken that size of the block, I've taken the window, which is where this dotted line is going to show up on your layout, and I've tripled it. So this length is 3 times the window to get us 2688 and 480. That's how tall the viewport is. Well, how would you find that? In the properties on our layout at the very bottom is this view. I can view the project properties, and right here under display is the viewport, and then I can verify the height is 480, and that's where that value came from that I chose. So now I've got my layout. The very first thing we want to do is we want to set up all of our background assets so we can have them placed, and then we can lock them into place. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, and I want to insert a new object, and I want to insert a tiled background. So I'm going to scroll down to general, look for tiled background. Now in the tutorial, they insert one of the diamond patterns as their tiled background, and then they move forward. There is a solid color background and a heels background, and so I'm going to take advantage of all three of those, and I'm going to create three different backgrounds so it has a nice blended background for us to use. So the first one is tiled background, and I want to make sure I'm naming this correctly. So this is going to be solid background. And then I'm going to click on the canvas with my target. And then I need to find that specific graphic. In that upper left-hand corner is a folder that loads from a file. I'm going to try to locate in my asset pack, my abstract platformer. And I'm going to go into I can go into the PNG or tile sheet. This time, I'm going to go into PNG. That's going to give me that single image that I need. PNG, and then I'm going to go to backgrounds. And they've got different color themes to choose from. I'm going to choose the cream color for the background, and I'm going to upload that. And there's my color there. And so I'm going to exit out. And now I need to have this covering the entire landscape here on my layout. Currently, right now, this is free form. It's kind of moving on its own. There's not really pivoting on anything. I could do my best to line it up in the corner and try to do my best to cover this and cross the entire layout. But if you want to be more precise, is that you have a position and size that you can use. Likewise, when I select up here in the margin, that on the layout, there is this snap to grid. This will also help you for positioning. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this to snap to the grid. And now this is going to snap to put my position at 0, 0. That's going to be that upper left-hand corner. And now I can drag this out all the way to the right-hand side. I can go all the way down. And now I'm getting a precise layout for my canvas. I'm going to right click and I'm going to go to lock. I'm going to lock the selection, and then I'm going to add two more here. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, insert new object. I'm going to repeat the process. I'm going to scroll down to the tile background. Now, where are these names coming from? If you don't know the name of an object, by all means, use the default name for right now, but then change it later. So for instance, if I didn't know what this next image was going to be, if I just select background or tile background here, and I insert this, and then I click on the canvas, and I go to the upper left-hand corner for the folder, I may not know, but right here now is there's hills and tiles. Now that I want to insert this, I know what it is. The tiles next. I'm going to upload that to get this pattern. Now I have a name for this file. So if I was to exit out, and with this, I put it in that upper left-hand corner, and I'm going to stretch this out. Now I'm given the pattern that I need, and this is the one they used for the tutorial, but they used the purple one instead. And now I can name this object correctly. So this is going to be and I'll call it the diamond background. You can't have any spaces in the name, so it's saying I have an invalid error. So it fixed that for me. And now I'm going to go ahead and insert that last background. So then I'm going to go ahead and right click, insert new object, locate the tiled background again. I don't know the name, so I'm going to insert, click on the canvas, go to the folder in the upper left hand corner one more time, and I'm going to use the hills and upload this. And there is the hills image. I'm going to exit out. Now I have mine up here above, and the reason why I did that is because I forgot to lock the diamonds here. So I'm going to right click, go to lock, and lock that selection as well. And then I'm going to need to locate that third background image. I'm going to put that into position, drag it down and all the way over, and now you see the hills showing up. And now my backgrounds are into position. I'm going to right click and I'm going to lock that selection as well. And now I've got a pretty nice background to work with that's much nicer than the tutorial. With that one image, I'm taking advantage of all the assets that are given to me in this asset pack. And now I've got my layout with my background images all set up and ready to go. This is a good time to save your project. Construct has two options. You can save it as a local file or save it to the cloud. So I'll go to Menu, Project, go over to Save As, and then go to Cloud Save. Save locally or download a file. I'd recommend using the cloud save to a specific Google Drive, Dropbox, sorry, not Dropbox, OneDrive, or so you have Google Drive, OneDrive, or Dropbox. Those are the three choices, and that way you have access to your file at any time. I'm going to use Google Drive to save my project, and then I'm ready to go for the next part of the tutorial. Thanks for watching.